Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stick to the Manga, your weekly manga podcast, where each week we talk about a new manga. This week we're talking about Bokurano again. This is our part 2 in our 3-part series for Halloween.
Woo!
And today we're not going to give you a summary because we did that last week, so I'm going to give you a last time on Bokurano. Just so you know, there's spoilers.
Last time on Bokurano, a pedophile didn't die.
That was this time on Bokurano.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
last
still
time, but last time on Bokurano, 15 children signed a contract with a mecha. They met an old scientist. He gave them this fucking contract because fuck these children. They need to die. Scientist dies. Many children die.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old gets gang raped by pedophiles.
And we find out that
she tries to kill her pedophiles. She kills most of them except for the ringleader, because her sister was in love with him. Who the fuck loves pedophiles? Get the fuck out of my fucking face. And then Maki died, and everyone was sad, because she was the best character.
Is that the one with the little brother who was just born that she didn't get to meet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah.
A lot of these children are awful, but she was one of the good ones.
And don't trust Dung Beetle, who is a teddy bear, mouse, mushroom shark,
Goomba.
Pikachu thing.
Love that description.
Because his cheek things make me think of Pikachu.
Also Goomba.
Goombas?
All I can say is reference what I said last time. He gives me what's that character from Madoka Magica? He gives me that type of vibes.
He absolutely has that vibe. It's QB.
Also, we found out who didn't sign the contract this episode too. Because we left off at somebody not signing the contract.
Little sister beater himself.
He should literally be. He should be the one on the market. And where it left off at the ending, I feel like Kana actually did sign the contract somehow. I'm jumping way far ahead, but I mean, I'm just like a lot has happened.
Yeah. In this time, how many children died?
Like 3.
3 or 4?
3, I think. Like, 3 or 4.
Nope, 3. Like
Aiko.
3.
Aiko, Komata, Kiri. So 3.
Yeah, and what?
Well, I wrote their names down in the notes.
Was it Kiri who's the guy that died?
Yes.
That was the first one.
Okay, because his chapter was like 3 or 4 chapters just dedicated to him and the military.
Well, I mean, there was 4 then.
Nope, because there was
Kiri, the quote-unquote chubbier boy who died.
There was Kiri, brown-haired girl, blonde-haired girl, Kanji.
Okay, yeah, that's who I was missing.
Kanji was the last one to die.
I didn't scroll enough. That was my bad. So there were 4 people this time. 4 people who died this time. Or 4 pilots.
But either way, the military is stupid, especially leaking their information to the media. They should know that there was going to be
Well, I think the media didn't necessarily care about the children. The media tends to be like, the people have a right to know type front. But then a lot of the media ended up being part of the military's plan to try to execute what they wanted to execute.
Well, because one other pilot ran away, which I don't blame him for wanting to run away, but it was kind of odd that he wanted to see the other person perform before making a decision if he was going to shoot himself or not. Actually, no, I don't think he shot himself either.
We're skipping over a very important part.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit.
The most important part that happens in this entire thing. Kiri stabs the motherfucking pedophile.
Yeah, that was great.
But then the worst thing that happens in this set of chapters, the pedophile lives.
Yeah, that was
awful. He didn't have the balls to finish him off.
To be fair, he should have died. He stabbed him almost right in the heart with like a 4-inch blade. Like, he should have bled out.
Probably missed both of his fucking vital organs that are right there, in between them.
Oh, yeah.
He should have finished him off, though. Made sure he was nice and dead.
People jumped. Yeah, he's 12, and people jumped out right after he stabbed him, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, that is fair. And at the same time, though, even though he didn't finish him off, there was like a bad message that it like was kind of giving off. I can't remember. Like, let me gather my thoughts here. I lost what I was going to say.
Oh, the fucking pedophile being like, oh, you can't blame me for what happened to her because she made those choices.
Oh my gosh, I was about to literally, like, make myself become a book character just so I could throttle him, because I'm like, that is such excuse, like, taking the blame, victim, like, bullshit. Like, I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was like, everything he said was literal just straight crock shit.
You can tell Gabby's angry because she could not finish that sentence properly at all.
I apologize.
It
made me so mad.
It's also frustrating too, because he was like none of it's my fault. I've never touched her. It's like, wow.
He did. He did indeed.
Yeah, and you got all her, like, your friends to do it too. So I mean,
and to reiterate, she was a child in love with the teacher. That is very common for children to think they're in love with their teachers, because crushes and, like, baby hormones, you know. But just because you're a child who flirts with the teacher shouldn't react in any way, shape, or form. Like, what? Besides saying, like, no, of course.
I don't like the term baby hormones.
Sorry. You know what I meant. I was referring to, like, they're starting to go through the age of puberty.
Yeah.
I meant immature hormones. I don't know how to phrase it, but you knew what I meant.
I don't like baby hormones.
I apologize. I won't say that again. You knew what I was trying to say, though, so that's all that matters. But I was literally so mad during that whole part because everything he said was just, like, bullshit, but he said it in a pretty way. So Kiri was like, I was like, no, Kiri. I was like, don't fall for it.
Like, he was promising him all these ladies and, like, other things too, and it's like, buddy, what are you going to do? Teach him to, like, become a rapist or something? Like, seriously.
Well, you gotta teach him young,
like,
right?
You're a bad influence. You're a really bad influence, and I'm glad Kiri was like, nope, and decided to stab him.
That pedophile deserved so much worse. And I'm still so mad about everything he said. And yes, it is accurate. If I'm actually mad, I lose the ability to speak properly, so.
Is that a superpower, Gabi?
A shitty superpower, if that's the case.
I just imagined fucking, like, when they introduce a new character in My Hero Academia where, like, still frames on them, it's like, quirk. Angry stutter.
Yeah. I was really angry last time, but to give this manga credit, it has gotten better overall, like, story-wise and context-wise, but also, like, pedophiles still make me so mad, and they should make everyone so mad to see this, like, motherfucker being manipulative to Kiri. Like, I'm still so pissed, like, you motherfucker.
I was gonna make a political statement, but then I decided against it.
That sounds good. But yeah, the pedophile deserved to die. I'm hoping he'll still die. There's still time. If they lose, then the world will get wiped out, and so will the pedophiles. So there's that.
Well, I mean, that's not a good outcome just to wipe out one man.
I mean, it's not the best outcome, but at least it would kill him still.
Yes, but that would state that the child still lost anyway. So,
but the pedophile would also be dead.
Yeah, but there's no closure.
Gabi doesn't care. The pedophile must die. I'll kill 1,000 children to kill this pedophile.
Well, either way.
I just said if they lose, there is a benefit. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying let's kill 11 children. I was saying at least there's a benefit if they lose.
There's still pedophiles in this other world. Actually, we don't know that.
We don't. Maybe they just straight up murder every single pedophile. We don't know.
You know what? Maybe they've eliminated a universe where no pedophiles exist. A pure universe.
That would suck. The purest universe getting wiped out because they're just so pure.
I thought you were saying it would suck if there was a universe without pedophiles, and I was like, Kevin, are you okay?
What? No! Every pedophile deserves death. And you know what? The worst kind of death. Hang them by their balls, let them bleed out slowly.
Hell yeah.
Slowly and
hang them by the balls, slit their throat. But just enough so that it'll take a long time.
Actually, you know what? I know the perfect... Okay.
I actually know the perfect punishment.
No, I do. But anyway, there's this show called Higurashi, When They Cry. It's is the English title, and there's this one eerie scene that always gets me, and it's where this one character dishonored their family, and so she's like, in order to redeem your title and everything, you have to rip off every single fingernail with this device.
Oh, I've seen that part.
Yeah. And if you miss it, it hurts even more. So not only should he go through that finger torture device, he should probably have every single death in When They Cry combined.
You know what have you guys ever heard of a movie called Hard Candy?
No.
It's
a movie with Ellen Page. You guys know who Ellen Page is?
Yeah, she's like the cute Girls Next Door, and also she's on The Umbrella Academy. She's that girl.
Yeah. She's also in she's the main character of Juno with Michael Cera. But she's in a movie called Hard Candy. I'm going to spoil the entire movie. It's a great movie, but if you don't want to get spoiled about it. It came out like 10 years ago, so if you haven't seen it by now, whatever. But I'm going to spoil it. Basically, there's a scene where she basically ties this guy down and then puts a screen in front of him that shows him getting like a vasectomy and like just mutilating his testicles with surgical equipment. It's pretty great. It's pretty fucking intense.
So what did the guy do that deserved mutilation of the testicles?
Did you say the tentacles?
No, Gabi, no.
He was He was a serial child rapist.
Okay, yeah, he deserves mutilation of the testicles.
Oh yeah, mutilation of the genitals is step 1, but they have to be awake and alive. And then part 2 is you start removing their organs while they're alive without anesthesia.
Here's the kicker.
And then you sell their organs.
No.
Yeah, you make a little bit of money off them. Why not?
Here's the kicker. she didn't actually do the surgery on him. She just used it as a way to mentally torture him to the point where he kills himself. She does a bunch of other fucked up shit to him as well. Like tons of shit. It's a great movie if you want to watch a pedophile get fucking destroyed.
Gabi, there you go. You can imagine the
Perfect. It's everything I've ever wanted.
The horrible person who should die in this manga. You can just envision him. Well, anyway, he's getting mutilated.
Let's move on. Chapter 31. Was there really like a 7-year-old talking about like war and death? Did that just not click with me?
Maybe I was talking about Kiri and I didn't mean to write 7. I probably meant to write 12.
Oh yeah. Was Kiri talking about that, or was that Mrs. Tanaka?
Oh, no, because he was the one who asked, and then Tanaka was like, no, let me tell you something. Like, people are innately selfish, blah, 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 blah. But when he was talking about movies, he was like, everyone dies, no matter the size, war and death are inevitable. I was like, what the heck kind of 12-year-old? Like, 12-year-olds may be like, like, people actually die, but they don't go that hard about it. Like, what 12-year-old thinks like that?
How could it be a happy movie if anybody died in it?
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something as my childhood, because I know when I was 12, I was definitely fighting off the evils of the world and
no, I'm not saying that 12-year-olds can't be fighting off the evils of the world. Like, there's lots of mental illnesses that even 12-year-olds can fight. It's more so how he phrased everything he was referring to, that it's not how a 12-year-old would phrase things. That's all I'm referring to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic. I'm saying, like, that's what I thought about. I said that's what I thought about when I was a kid too.
Like, I'm not good at reading sarcasm. I apologize.
Well, to be fair, my sarcasm, everybody thinks is serious. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
But Tyler's is like that too. And then I start responding because I think he's serious. And then I look at his face and he has that smug look. It makes me so mad. Though at the end of all of that really intense conversation, at least Tanaka like gave good advice about like don't look for best, look for better. And I'm like, that's actually pretty solid advice with most things. Like, try for better, not best. So I support that.
Do what you can. Don't stress about like doing the best.
Yeah, well, and I've actually heard that advice before. Just try for better. Just try to improve in general, and that's all that really matters.
Maybe he wants to catch them all.
Pokemon.
I
mean, he's the right age, too.
I wanna be the very best.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Okay, is it just me, or did the girl that was piloting the mech against Kiri, did that not look exactly like what's her face from the last time?
They all look the same. Like, a lot of the characters have like the exact same face but different hair and eyelashes.
Or was it supposed to look like his sister?
I think it was supposed to look.
You mean his cousin?
Yeah, his cousin.
Her cousin.
But his cousin had a pixie cut, so I don't know.
Who knows?
But the fact that she had lots of cutting scars, that was kind of... I don't know if anyone else caught that.
Oh, I did. That's the first thing I saw.
Yeah. But then, like, nothing really came of it. Well, like, it wasn't fighting back for a bit, so I was like, oh, is this what's happening? I don't know. It was kind of confusing. Like, I figured there was supposed to be some sort of metaphor there, but it wasn't as clear as I felt like it could have been. If that makes sense.
I guess they were just trying to show respect for each other, because one, like, the whole teleporting out and reaching the hand out and being right there to kill, and and then the other person coming by too. Like, I feel like she was like saying we could have been friends if if it weren't for this curse.
I don't think so.
It's really confusing to me that like he was like, yeah, I'm here, and then like as soon as he saw her, he's like, yeah, I gotta murder this fucking bitch.
Yeah, I was like, what? I don't know if by the fact that he saw her like face to face, it finally occurred to him that like, oh, like what Tanaka said, like sometimes you have to be innately selfish to save the people you love. Like that finally came to him because it was now so clearly innate, like because she was right there. But then at the same time, I was like, I was more so referring to like what's the metaphor of like the cutting scars because the artist made that real obvious.
I think it was supposed to. I think what happened, now that I actually think about it, like critically, what it was is that he saw her cutting scars and it made him think of his cousin. He's like, oh, if I don't fight, my cousin is going to die, and all of this me trying to keep her alive will be for nothing.
Oh, yep, you're right. I'm there. That makes sense. Thank you.
But she can't. She can't die, but she can't live either. But after say like making a promise to jump off a building with your friend, not doing it, I could be like I. Like I'm not surprised that she went into depression at all. She lost her friend. She had like depressing thoughts. She couldn't kill herself. She couldn't live with herself. So what is she supposed to do?
How to avoid these situations. Step 1. Seek mental help. Step 2. Don't jump off buildings. Step 3. Don't let your friends jump off buildings. Step 4. Don't say you will jump off buildings with your friends. Step number 5. If your friend jumps off a building after you don't do it with them, seek mental help. Go into therapy immediately.
Yes.
Because that is definitely going to cause some PTSD.
Though I definitely think that a lot of the connections the author tries to make could be made more clearly because I'm not stupid and I'm good at making connections, but a lot of times in this I'm like, what the heck is the author trying to say?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really, I felt really bad for the cousin and I hope she gets a mental help. If they all live, anyways.
And
we don't know how this is going to
end. Going to help the cousin to know that her cousin is now dead.
I forgot what Kiri decided to do with his body. Did they tell us?
I think he just disappeared.
Okay, no, so they may never know.
Was it Kiri or there was like one person that's like, I want my dad to get for this, so please teleport me to these 2 towers. It's like
that was the last person.
That was
Kanji.
I don't understand why he wanted to blame his dad for his death.
We'll be back. Let's go in order because we just went through Kiri. So let's talk about Komoda now.
Hers was a weird set.
I honestly can't remember. Oh wait, no, I can. She's the piano player, right?
Yeah, with her military dad.
Yeah. So I think I wrote it like 3 times throughout this. Yeah, I did. I wrote note to all, talk to your goddamn kids. Like so many issues between the children in this series and their parents are because their parents don't talk to their kids. Like talk to your children, please, for the love of God. Talk to your kids. But however, like her dad like didn't even try. He mostly just looked at her. Like that made me so mad. And then
oh, I'm gonna play piano now because I'm done being in the military. I'm gonna play piano.
Yeah, but that was sweet because Komoda talked about how they originally tried to learn it together, and he was like, "I don't think I'm good for this, and I don't have time for this." So it was kind of like respecting her memory at the end. So I appreciated that, but At least Komoda's mom had a fair response when she found out that her child was dying. She kind of freaked out, and I was like, that seems pretty realistic to me. That she like spazzed out.
It is realistic. Really realistic, actually. Like,
Though I did find it funny because I was like, you're not the one dying. Like, try to be there for your child, please.
Like, bitch, do you even understand?
I don't think she even went to the recital to
No,
she did not.
Support her.
That made me mad. I was like, your kid's literally dying, and you know that she's dying, and you couldn't even go to the recital. Weak.
Also, fucking letting the pedophile live was the worst choice they made.
That made me so mad. I'm like, you could have just killed him. No one would have cared.
Because he leaked tons of information.
Definitely relays a bad message.
Leaves a sour taste in my fucking mouth.
It would have been so much more fun if they're just like, psych, we're murdering you. Or what if they signed him up for the contract? That would have been so good.
That would have been... Oh, he probably would have been the kind of person just like, I won't fight because fuck you guys.
Yeah, but he seems to be very self-serving. Like, he's a pedophile, so I feel like he'd want to live.
Also, here's a question for you guys. Instead of, like, the military officers piloting or having, like, what was it, 10 or so people that were going to take over once the kids died, couldn't they just use the people in prison that are just, like, not...
Well, they want people to pilot how they want.
Well,
and they want... Because if someone's in prison has, like, has a grudge, they could just kill everyone for the lulz.
Come on, Don.
Well, I mean, you know how if somebody's killed, it skips their turn or whatever to the pilot. With the people that are in prison, you're just like, either way, you're going to die if you make any moves that is going to harm society. We're gonna stand right there and be ready to slit your throat. If you're like have all the like kind of like Suicide Squad, where if they did anything funny, they die. So they just use prisoners because, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it just would have been a better fit than the military people who are serving. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It would be the best. It would be like the new Death Row or something. Like, opinions, thoughts. Am I going to the dark side?
I mean, they only needed like 2 more people, which is why they got 2 more people.
I think they wanted to make sure they had people that would actually fight.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think they would do prison, because if someone's mad and they become the pilot, even if they acted, they could just kill everyone, and that's kind of against the point. So I don't think they would use prisoner.
Yeah, if they were angry at the world, they'd just be like, oh, fuck this world.
They could just kill that person and move on to the next.
Yeah, but sometimes...
Yeah, but I think all prisoners would probably not want to help.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Especially if they're on death row.
Well, maybe they'll have a chance for redemption. Who knows?
I think it's probably better if they just stick with soldiers who are trained mentally to deal with the idea of, you know, killing. As much as
killers are trained to kill.
They aren't trained, they just are mentally unstable, Kevin. There's a difference. My cat won't leave me alone and keeps scratching me.
Okay, yeah, there is a difference. I'm sorry. I just think that certain... Like, I don't know what to think, because there's a lot of people that I feel should die, but at the same time, I'm one of those people that are like, everybody deserves to live and has a chance. So it's like kind of contradictory when I.
No, I get you. I understand.
I guess it depends on the.
Anyway.
Because like that pedophile is an example of like death row for sure. Because I mean,
not necessarily. Usually on death row, you have to have killed someone first, at least one person.
And the thing,
to my understanding, but I don't know how Canada works. I only know how the United States
there's
works.
no death penalty, so in
okay.
Canada. So
then you would have. I'm pretty sure for it to be on the death penalty in the United States, you have to have killed at least one person.
Either way, though, this guy's a monster.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just talking about the death penalty.
I know, like, how do I?
Okay, wait. Let's just move on.
Is
that all we?
He was even coercing a new kid once he finished with the other one.
We talked about this last week because you were behind.
Yeah.
But anyways,
messed up.
Yeah, but moving on.
We all agree that he should die.
Yes. But I felt really bad for Komoda, and also like the other pilot that like ran away, which is why they had the recital to like draw him out. Like I felt bad for him when they found out that like all of his family had been murdered because like their world had also found out, like they found out about Komoda and the other pilots. Like that was awful. Like it's like they were all kind of manipulated. We don't know about their story, but the kids were manipulated. So it's like they were manipulated into signing this contract, and then they killed his family. So it kind of makes sense that he was like, screw his family. But at least the dad stepped up in the end, and even though he technically pulled the trigger that killed his daughter, he stepped up. So I was proud of the character development of Komoda's dad.
I feel like he wanted that responsibility to be on his hands rather than like, so he couldn't be angry at somebody else. He wouldn't. He wouldn't have that ability to try and seek out revenge.
Yeah, and she was fated to die no matter what. So
that's what I'm saying. So he didn't really kill her.
Yeah, depends on. Well, him mentally, he's like, I just killed my daughter.
I guess it depends how you look at it, I guess.
I mean, she was gonna die, but she dies when she wins, and he caused her to win by killing him. So yes, a little bit of mental gymnastics. I don't think he killed his daughter. She was gonna die no matter what happened if she won, but I understand the logic that they're going for.
Like, so, how to put it in a way? You press a button that kills the person that's going to kill your daughter, but pressing that button also kills your daughter, but saves 7 billion people.
Yep.
That would be really hard. Do I want to save 7 billion people, or do I want to save my daughter?
This also no matter what, if she won, she was gonna die, and like everyone, even he himself was gonna die if she won. If she lost, I mean. But it's also kind of interesting because this kind of goes back to what Tanaka was talking about, how like she was saying, I would always save my 2 family members over 500 strangers every time because of blah, 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 whatever, talking about how like humans have an innate cause to be selfish or whatever. So I thought that was interesting to kind of tie back into that, but
maybe I'm a sociopath, but if it was 1 versus 1,000, I'd get rid of the 1.
No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you there. It's called 1,000 Unknown. Like, they're talking about the unknown world. That was what she was talking. Whole Tanaka was like, I would rather save my 5 family members than care about those 12 people over there that I know they're going to die because we figured out this quote-unquote game.
Yeah. There's an interesting psychological paper that you guys should read called The Monkey Sphere. And it talks about this whole idea of you have a certain amount of people in your monkey sphere. Your monkey sphere is the amount of people you are capable of actually caring about. and it says like people's monkey spheres don't really go above 10. If you are above 10, you are not like an average person. You have too much room in your monkey sphere in a way.
So I'm not an average person. Thanks for letting me know. I know I wasn't average, but still, that confirms it, I guess. Because Jake and Gabi are in my monkey sphere, I guess.
Like, the monkey sphere refers to people that, like, people that you would do anything for. Like, if this person came up to you and was like, hey, I need a kidney, you'd be like, yeah, I have a kidney, take my kidney.
Oh yeah, there's only a handful of people that would actually do that. I see where you're going.
People that you would sacrifice your well-being for.
Yeah. And it's less than most people think.
Yeah. Most people say, well, look, I care about everyone I've ever met. It's like, no, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. You think you care about all these people you have on your friends list on Facebook, but like 20 of them could die and you'd never know. And you wouldn't be, unless somebody told you, you would not be affected by their death.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense, but that's really depressing to think about because it makes me think, well, who am I to certain people and who are people to me?
I mean, that's what we go back to. Like, people do have an innate selfishness, which I wouldn't even necessarily call it selfishness, but it's just like you want to do things that would be good for you.
Yeah.
And then the monkey sphere kind of involves like, oh, I also would want to do things that are good for these people that I really actually care about. It's like that.
Yeah.
Because we are, animals. And following your innate needs is generally what they do. But anyways, if we want to move on to Aiko, this is another one where I said, talk to your kids! Like, the fact her father, like, was never home and, like, would never talk to her. Also, the fact that she got so excited about being interviewed just because she's always wanted to secretly be an idol. I was like, what?
Yeah, and her father's
weird flex,
always on
but okay.
TV. But what's really awful is the fact that, in a way, he was using his daughter to like get more fame and popularity for himself. It wasn't really about her. Like he knew he was going to die, but instead he's like, I need to get this story out.
I think Aiko was probably like, yes, this is what needs to happen as well. She's probably like, I want people to see me. I want people to see me going through all of this. Such a weird fucking father.
Which one is the muting for the mic again?
Also, like, the fact that he had no backbone to tell his job, like, no. But once the military got involved, he kind of had to. But at the same time, I was like, don't you, like, care about your daughter? And the fact that she said she finally felt happy for once, so she couldn't bring it to tell him that she was going to die, I was so mad. Because I was like, your dad does not deserve you.
Yeah. So
talk to your children. PSA. Talk to your children.
Talk to your fucking kids. Kevin, you had a question? I think you figured it out. Anyway, yeah, like, talk to your kids. Kids are important. You didn't just,
So was she one of the other peer ones?
I mean, yes, she didn't really do anything awful. Like, I'm not gonna feel bad if, like, Ushiro fucking gets yeeted out of the fucking mech, even though he didn't sign the contract.
Oh my gosh, that made me so mad, but also I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, I was like, it makes sense that he didn't sign it.
Fucking yes.
Well,
but wait,
we
continue
know
your point, Jake.
Know who the purest child is, though. The purest child is Kana, by far.
I don't know.
We don't know that much about Kana yet.
Yeah, we don't.
She still hasn't done any wrong yet.
That we know of. Maybe she fucking chokes out hamsters. It's a pretty fucked up thing to do,
That was
Kana.
such a weird thing to just randomly bring up.
I don't know. I thought of Kana choking a small animal, and I was like, hamsters. That's the small animal. People love hamsters. Look at Hamtaro. Look at that fucking anime series where the fucking hamster teaches people about having sex.
I think that was only in one episode, and that was a Japanese exclusive.
You know what? It still exists. I think there's actually a full series about that. I need to do more research about the sexy hamster. But anyways, Kana chokes out hamsters. That's my headcanon. She's the worst of the kids. That's why Jun fucking beats her all the time. He's like, stop choking out those fucking hamsters, Kana.
Okay, you're giving reasoning for Kana to get beaten by her brother. That's not
She chokes out tiny animals.
She does not.
Yeah, I'd beat up my little sister. She choked out all of my fucking hamsters. Hamsters are expensive. They're like $20-$50 a pop. And she's just choking
out of
them
everything
out for fun.
Out of everything you can say about a hamster's worth, you were actually talking about monetary value, Jake. You know, not the fact that they're a living animal, but just the fact they cost $20 to $50 a pop.
Well, cats are about $300, so at least it's.
That's only if you. I mean, they don't have to be that expensive if you adopt.
You just walk down the street, you can get a cat for free.
Yeah, walk down the street in the summertime, you'll find one.
In the town I grew up in, we had a fucking like horde of cats that would just hang out and then just travel across town in a pack.
Oh, that would be scary. Just all these cats just walking in a line or marching side by side, just what are those kitties doing?
They'd all meet up on like halfway up the hill, and they just sit in like this one person's fucking driveway. And I'd always see them when we went past in the school bus. I was like, "Don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with those guys. They'll fuck you up."
They're probably like, "Where's my money? Where's my money?" Or give me my catnip. I paid for it.
We are way off right now.
Okay. Anyways.
Mosquito bot.
No. Yeah, well, I thought that was really interesting because, like, out of all of them, like, we hadn't seen one that was like a pinpoint assassin.
Yeah.
One looks like a freaking dinosaur going through a portal.
Yeah, but we're not to that yet.
I don't even remember what the other two looked like. One would look like a generic mech, right?
One of them looked like a person.
Yeah.
I actually had a theory about that humanoid robot.
But wait, we're talking about the mosquito one.
Isn't the mosquito one before or after that human shaped? Oh, okay.
I thought that. Oh wait, yeah, that was Kiri's was the human shaped one. I think. Yeah, there's too many kids and characters and robots that my brain just kind of blends them all together.
Yeah, I think the mechs this time didn't stick in my brain that much, other than Mosquito Bot and Dino Portal.
The thing that the song that pops up when we're talking about these giant mechs is I love giant robots. We love giant robots. It was a cartoon back in the day. I can't remember what it was called, but they drove a giant robot.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It might have been a Canadian exclusive show. I'm not sure. It was the song is called "Chicks Dig Giant Robot."
Do we want to talk about how they had a random kid during the Ico one about the kid who like came out and said that he was a robot even though he wasn't, and then he just got straight up murdered?
Yep, that's what
I was like, in my head I was like, what did he want? But I feel like he probably wanted like assisted suicide. I guess.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of. Because we don't hear much about him besides like, oh, he beat him, and then Aiko was sad because she lost her big interview until they brought it into the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were talking about like being involved with, but sorry, moving on. I mean, I can't think. When her legs were crushed, I was like, wow. But they also didn't show it, so it took me a minute to understand what happened.
Were they crushed or did they melt?
I honestly don't know because they didn't show it. I was confused.
I think they melted because the chair behind them was like melting. So I think acid.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too, but I didn't even get a chance to see her legs. So I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is she was on the ground.
Which is 100 times more fucked than her legs getting crushed. Because that's just...
Yeah.
Acid doesn't just dissolve or anything. It just fucking goes until it's done.
Yeah, it eats through things. Depending on the acid, of course.
Oh, that would hurt like hell. How is she not screaming?
Acid burns are... Like, I have holes in some of my jeans from chemistry lab from having a low-grade acid just eat little baby holes through my jeans.
Oh, jeez.
It didn't hurt
her. I thought you were a
marine
biologist, not a chemist.
I took 3 chemistry classes. You know, like you take classes related to your field in order to get higher up classes, Kevin.
Okay, to be fair, we've only been introduced through this podcast, and I've only ever talked to you a few times.
I know, but
Gabi
generally speaking, if you do a science
for fun.
No. If you do a science degree, generally you have to do all the generals, and the generals include at least 1 math class, a few chemistry classes, a few biology classes. That's how most biology degrees
Gabi's
work.
on 32 federal watch lists.
That would make sense because
that would be kind of impressive, but I'm really not interesting.
For computer
to the
science,
government anyways.
You had to take chemistry and physics classes. Computer science, it had nothing to do with computers.
I mean, chemistry has a lot to do with marine biology, but I digress. We're not talking about that.
College is a weird thing where basically it's high school again, but you get to choose your classes sometimes.
And you know what? I'm probably going to be hated, and the comments are going to be like, you know nothing. But honestly, for some type of degrees, going to school is completely useless. Especially when there's a chance that you're not even going to end up in the field. And then you're going to end up with a degree that you worked for that's completely useless. Computer science, I felt I could get more knowledge just doing it to do it, not to like go to school.
I'd say it depends on the person. Like, there's some people who are much better at self-motivating and doing it by themselves, and know how making, like, networking with people who can get them careers. But then that's some of the things that gets you by going to a college is that they can get you networking just by getting that degree and being like, here you go. There you go. That person has a job for you. Go there.
There's also a lot of things to deal with back in the day when high school used to be a lot harder. Getting a college degree was like such a big deal. But nowadays it's kind of like whatever, getting a undergraduate degree isn't that big of a deal. but getting your master's kind of helps. And getting your PhD is like, whoa. So, like, we keep raising the stakes because more and more people keep doing a certain thing. And not just that, there's like a lot of degrees nowadays that are quote unquote useless degrees. I don't necessarily think so, but like a lot of things, like my parents like to make jokes at like the people who get a degree in basket weaving or whatever you want to say.
Basket weaving? I didn't even know
It's a joke. No, it's a joke.
Oh, okay.
There are
Okay,
basket
joke.
weaving classes in
Yes.
college, but you don't
Yes, but
get a degree.
there's jokes about how like you can get a degree in something that you don't actually have to have super critical thinking for. So that's why a lot of like degrees and stuff is really complicated. It depends on like culture and stuff too.
Really,
Yeah.
what really
Some
pissed
fields
me
need
off-
degrees, some don't.
Yeah.
What really pissed me off about the whole computer or computer science degree is they were trying to teach Java before they taught anything else. Like there's people in that class that didn't even know how to file manage. Like they had no idea how to even get to the professor's file folder in the computer science course. So not only was there people not knowing any computer management, they threw you in Java, which should probably be taught maybe your third or fourth language. They should probably teach you off with web development because it's much easier. But anyway, this is far off topic, and this is the end of Rant Time with Kevin.
Therapy time with Kevin.
No, this was Rant Time, not therapy. Therapy time
Rant
is
time with Kevin.
Okay. So moving on to our last person.
What did you say? I kind of missed what you said.
I said moving on to our last person, Kanji. I was laughing so hard about the things they were saying about the United States in the last like 5 chapters. It was so funny.
Yeah,
it was like, except for one, the United States of America. America's always the same. They're stuck in their superpower paradigm. I was like,
I was
so funny.
I was like, how are Jake and Gabi going to take to this? Like, I mean,
laughing. It was so funny.
It's not that I don't. It's not that I don't agree with it or do agree with. I don't know what this. I don't have an opinion on it either way because I know people who've come from the United States. So
the United States are very stubborn.
So either way, I know a few people that are there, and they're not like very
Especially
stereotypical. Like I was like a lot of people were not a lot of people, but from what I've seen on media, that people bash the states, but a lot of Americans seem like they're really nice people and don't really think about those ways of thinking.
Basically what I've heard is like if you visit America from like the UK, you're gonna be like, oh wow, people are really fucking friendly here. This is what the fuck is going on? Why are you talking to me in public? Don't do that, please. That's what I've heard from people. That's what I've heard directly from British people I've met. Or like, what do you think of America? They're like, people are really nice here. It's unsettling.
Canada is even nicer.
I've actually experienced a lot more like mean people in Canada than I ever experienced in the United States.
Really?
I've experienced more racism in British Columbia than I did in Maine.
That's really interesting.
It could be that there's a lot more racial diversity here. So that way there's more racist people that I come in contact with because there's more racial diversity. Whereas in Maine, it's like where I grew up, we had like one black family and then they moved 3 months later.
But either way, with people like with the whole people being racist, I don't like. I never thought of Canada being racist, but I guess here in Canada, people probably feel more entitled than America, if that makes sense. Maybe.
No.
more
Americans are definitely
opinionated?
more entitled.
Okay, but Americans are all like American or Canadians are more opinionated. I can't I
I
mean
I think it's hard to group such large countries with such different variable regions into like stereotypes like that sometimes.
I don't know. I'm just going off of what I heard. I've never been to the States and I was told stay away. I would get shot the moment I stepped on the street.
No.
I don't That's not true at all.
Maybe Detroit, but
Maybe if you
No,
like went to Detroit and said some certain words, but
if you go into like Detroit or like maybe like backstreet Chicago and just start calling everybody the N-word, then you might get shot.
why would anybody use you know what I don't understand
okay,
about
no,
that?
we're not gonna. Let's not.
We'll
Let's
avoid
move
this
on.
topic.
Yeah, let's move on. So again, before Kanji dies, he talks to June, which is like the worst character, and I hate him. And we also already mentioned that it kind of makes sense that he was the one who didn't sign the contract. Kana deserves so much better than her brother who beats her. I love how critically Kanji talks to June because I think he needed to hear that.
Maybe
He
he should have been
did, but
saying this stuff before, you know.
Definitely.
Maybe the last like fucking what 8 years,
Yeah.
because they're
well,
But
between the
then
he
it
ages
only
of
kept
12 and
his
13.
Yes. But then I guess it makes a little more sense like when he was talking to him, he's like, "Don't you think it's weird that I've never talked to you about this before?" And June was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Kana told me not to stop you." But still, like, dude, she's a kid. Like, stop her anyways. But they're all children, so they're not very logical.
well, they seem more logical than most 12-year-olds.
We'll probably get her
That's
reasoning for it next time.
Yeah, because next time at the very end of this section we find or volumes we find out that Kana is signed on the contract.
But like
Yeah,
fucking when? Did
That's what I
she
want to
yeah.
know
did she just
too.
call Dung Beetle and be like, "Hey, yo bitch, I'm gonna sign that contract."
Who in the right mind would do that after knowing this? And on top of that, I have a theory about that humanoid robot.
Okay,
Like,
what's your theory?
well, they were talking about how this time it was on their Earth. Like, apparently it didn't really affect their Earth, the damages and stuff, because it was like parallel universe type deal. So
Yes.
like you know how they were talking about home turf. Like my theory is that they transport to whoever's Earth it is, and whoever's Earth it is, they become that form, or the enemy becomes that form of the. No, that doesn't make sense.
No. I feel like they just get assigned a mech and that's what they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they fight in different universes because they kept on saying there was a point where they were talking about home turfs and
Yeah, they do fight
how
on
they have
different
the event.
Earths.
Yeah, how they have the advantage and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this time it was their Earth, and anything that is destroyed or affected is going to stay there.
Yeah. Like look. You gotta kind of feel bad for the people that fought Komoda because there's only two of them left. So it's like their game was almost over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they won like 12 battles, so I mean that means they were stronger opponents. But they seem like the other when it came to the other guy's turn, he just seemed like a fucking wuss.
I mean, he
And
was faced with death, and he had his apparently he had his like daughter like murdered because like they were angry that the mech had been destroying places. It was just like a fucking mess. Also, there's another dung beetle
Yeah, he's black. What?
Oh gosh.
I'm just stating
No,
that
it was just the way it came out, Kevin. I know what you mean.
I wasn't reading it as any type of
No, no,
racist
no.
slur or
No, no,
anything.
no. I know you weren't. It was just the way it came out. It was like, yeah, there's another dung beetle. He's black. But anyways,
Okay,
And
so
he has like
just
pointy ears.
he does. For a minute, I was like, oh, did dung beetle change it up?
Dung
Because they
beetle
had
evolved.
because they had that weird like fake physics talk. Like physics isn't real. We're above that talk or whatever. But no, it wasn't. So I just thought that was
What
funny.
was really interesting that surprised me though, Dung Beetle acts like they both act the same, even though they're parallel universe Dung Beetles. So that means like, why would they have the same personality if they if they're from two different parallel universes?
I think it's just that I feel like the dung beetle is like a race of like extraterrestrials that are like above the like human plane, and
Well, they were trying to teach the humans how to actually teleport and duplicate items.
I don't think he was trying to teach them. He was just like, here, your fucking monkey brain can't understand this fully, so here, I'll dumb it down for you.
Yeah, but they did that because it's not a thing.
Yeah.
It was just, the author having their fun little science, like in JoJo's, like their weird science logic. I was laughing so hard at all that.
That was an interesting theory or an interesting thought, though. Like there being little particles smaller than neutrons and electrons and protons, and they're all in one place, and everything is in a three-dimensional cube where you can like transport one cell into another, so they're not really there, but they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was interesting, but at the same time, it was like let's just say it made sense, even though it's not real, as far as we know.
Yeah. Kinda. It kinda made sense, but also just sounded like he was just making shit up to
Yep.
please the human brain.
Yep. Which is pretty much what the author was doing in order to get it to be passable. I love when Dung Beetle was like, even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you anyways. I love those little cop outs.
It's a fucking cuck. So I'm pretty sure that dung beetle and black dung beetle are all
Maybe there's
they're
a
part
red
of a
dung
race.
beetle. Maybe he's red. He was just shaded black.
He's probably brown.
Like, who knows what color he actually is, because manga is all black, unless you get the amphibious.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes they make posters and stuff, so maybe
Yeah.
they have like a poster title page in color, because they haven't had a few pages in color thus far.
They have, yeah.
It also,
like, I wish I could find something that was fully colored.
The anime.
Let's just pretend the anime doesn't exist for a moment, and I wish that there was colorful pages in the manga.
I mean, there were a few.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting. They use like watercolor.
Yeah, I think that's kind of common because once they ink it, then they just go over in color. Since a lot of manga artists, they traditionally only use black and white, and then if there's color, sometimes they have assistants who do the color.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And
it made sense.
Usually color is also like special editions or like limited editions and that sort of thing. But they're not supposed to really
And
be
then there's JoJo's
used
Bizarre
very
Adventure.
often. JoJo's Colored Bizarre, and that one is actually more of a fan-made one, I believe.
Yeah, it's all fan-made.
I don't think it's officially colored by the author.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But there is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has this thing where Araki has done so much promotional art that nobody's sure what colors are official. So when they made the first anime adaptation back in the 90s, they made one of the characters blonde when he was an old guy who was supposed to have a gray beard.
That's probably why they call it Bizarre Adventure.
No.
Because you never know which color you're going to get.
No. Incorrect. It's called Bizarre because a lot of weird shit happens.
Well, yeah, I guess. I've only read volume, like the end
part 1
of which we do have part 2 planned out eventually, right?
Yes. Anyway, Gabby, do you feel like you have anything else to say about this?
I mean, we never really talked about Kanji's death.
Oh yeah, we didn't. We didn't talk about his mech either.
I felt really bad when you learned about like the fact that his mom just died via suicide on the top of that building.
Yeah, but why would
he wanted to destroy the building himself. That's why he was quote unquote protecting it. But then he decided against it and realized that he was just trying to win. But I felt bad for all those people who volunteered themselves, but at the same time they wanted to do it. So
yeah.
My question
So they never talked about the fact they used a nuke. They used a nuke on Hawaii, and they never mentioned like what really happened besides, yeah, there was some damage. Like, yeah, you used a nuke on Hawaii. I think there's gonna be some damage.
Hawaii's gone.
And it was wasn't it Japan that like it's funny because they bring up Pearl Harbor and they're like, oh, this is just like Pearl Harbor, and
reverse.
Yeah.
Well, America asked for it, but I think what the author was trying to say is that America was looking for a cop-out. So when people are like, oh, Japan used a nuke, America can be like, yeah, it's definitely payback for Pearl Harbor. And they seem less at risk even though they asked for it. I think that's what the author was going for anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole thing about the America stealing Japanese new tech because they were, or it was an excuse to steal tech. That just doesn't seem logical at that for America to do that at that point in time because the whole Earth is resting with their decision, with everybody's. You know what I mean? So why would you go and steal ally intelligence when you're both in the same situation? Like everybody teamed up except America for some reason was still being like, no, I'll take this monster out myself.
Yeah.
But I still want to know why he wanted to blame his father for his death.
Because his dad essentially ditched their entire family and continued to work on the building that killed his mom. And made a wonderful life out of himself using the building that pretty much killed his mom. And like ditched the entire family. He's pretty much said like he only really knew his mom as his family growing up.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to die either way. Why should he take down his father with him? Like he didn't want to.
He wanted to take down the building, not necessarily his dad. It was just kind of a bonus. Yeah. Because that's how his dad got his money.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we're not rating it until next week what our thoughts are, hey?
Yeah. Yep, we're not rating it until the final part.
I'm just really hoping the ending doesn't suck because I've already deducted a lot of points just for pedophilia. So, just a
It's
free warning.
not. The points that I deducted weren't just for pedophilia. It was for like the sexualization of children and the pedophilia.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm deducting points just for those themes, those types of themes. Like, I feel it could have been good without that, without them doing that, or they could have found something a little bit like a different
I mean, he could
situation
have
with those.
included it without sexualizing it. I think that's what we all wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess it was to hate that one character so much as we all do, maybe?
No, because I would have hated him just as much, even if the children weren't sexualized throughout the entire thing. However, the last plot twist we want to talk about, we already kind of mentioned that Kana is in the contract. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that, like, but my question is for how long and when? Like, when
Yeah,
did she
I
have
think we're
time
gonna
to
find
do
out.
this?
I feel like
Still,
that'll
like,
be the
what?
first thing they talk about in the next chapter.
Maybe.
I hope so. Because usually if it ends on like it's their time, then the next few chapters become them. So
Yes, but I mean, they overstretched out, like, for the four deaths, um, like, one kid got, what was it, like, almost 7 chapters or so to himself, just explaining just backstory and present time. And like it just drawn out for one kid, and then there was another drawn out for another, and then the other few people were just a lot shorter.
Kiri, I think, got 4, and then every other one got like 5. Except for Kanji, who got 6.
Yeah, so maybe they were more even than what I thought they were. It just feels some of chapter 30 just went on forever.
Yeah.
Like chapter from chapters 30 to like 35, 37ish felt like it was just dragging on forever.
Yeah.
Like it it might have been because I didn't sleep last night. Actually, no, that's not true. I slept for a good 3-4 hours. But either way, it just felt dragged on. And like, how did you guys find those chapters?
Aiko's dragged on for me.
it did. I think a lot of them sometimes drag on, but they're trying to like build he's trying to like build like suspense and intensity and like he wants you to feel sad for them, but it's just too slow for most of them usually.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the ones that should have gotten longer chapters ended up having like 2 or 3 chapters on them, and just poof, and never hearing from them again.
Oh god. If
Like,
Kiri's was longer than the 3, I think I would have been like, fuck, fuck, and just die. Because his was only 3 chapters, and that one felt long as fuck. Because, like, there's so much, like, just. There was an entire chapter of just Miss Tanaka just talking to him and telling him, like,
Yeah. And
about,
it was
like,
sorry, Jake.
about how, like, death is just inevitable. So, like, save what you can. Don't try and save everyone type of deal.
Yeah. I think sometimes I feel like the author has like an agenda they really want to push for certain chapters, which is why like besides the fact that a lot of the characters look like they have the same face, like they all have like they all talk the same, like they all think the same. Like a lot of them it's hard to separate like oh who did this and who did this because I think the author you can see where the author's writing and it's all connected by like oh this is how the author writes.
Yeah.
But a lot of the characters seem the same. And then when it drones on, it kind of just blends together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a point where I was just like, what what are they trying to say here? Like we skipped to da 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 morning. Oh, like movies are sad no matter which ending you choose, and it's like seriously, just stop being so emo.
Yeah, and I guess that's my issue is like I understand that kids can have issues and be like sad and depressed even if they're 12, but he just writes them in such an adult way that I'm like no 12-year-old even if they were depressed would think like this.
Yeah. I feel like I probably thought somewhat like that.
I could say
But not to the extent of like the maturity and like the words he uses and the phrasing. That's what
Yeah,
I mean.
no.
I could say 15 or 16-year-olds could think like that, but but that's pushing it because I wouldn't say you would start getting those thoughts until maybe in your 20s at least.
You know what? I now that I like think about it, there are definitely like a good majority of like 12-year-olds that think of the like just like how Kiri was thinking, because I've met a lot of them that think like that. I've met 10-year-olds that like think like that.
It's not necessarily the subject matter for me. It's just how he writes it specifically. Because, like I said, like 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds don't phrase things like that. They don't use that specific vocabulary, and it's not exactly that. Like they can have the same thoughts and sound 10. He just has thoughts, and it sounds like it's an adult. That's what I mean.
Gabi, your socials.
Hey, follow me on Twitter at Show Me Your Manga.
If you want to talk to Kevin, you can join our Discord, and you can talk to him in his hentai castle.
Yep.
Kevin is the hentai master, Lord Hentai.
I was Lord Hentai. I'm now Hentai Master. I gotta catch them all, you know? Gotta catch them tits. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for.
That made me uncomfortable.
Like, I would said that to be funny, but I mean, that was kinda too far. I'm sorry.
You can follow me on Twitter at Make Me Your Manga, and you can follow the podcast at Sit Manga on Twitter, Sit Manga Podcast on Instagram. We have a My Anime list. We have a Discord. Everything is linked down below. So
please join us.
Yeah. Join us. Come talk to us. Most of us are active on the Discord for the most part.
Are you referring to me, Jake?
No, I'm referring to all of us.
Okay.
Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye, manga fans.
Bye.